What are the first things? What they call it? The fancy.
Yeah, 30, right, real windy, it was 35. Now call the Accomack County School Board meeting to order. May we all stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Present.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Present.
Item 2.01, BSPA Academy
Well, I have given our boards, and the Virginia School Board Association, gives awards of recognition to, board members for their commitment to effective school board governance from 2021 to 2023. So, Felicia Hand. Thank you for your service.
Okay, item 3.01, Public Elementary School presentation. Okay, 3.02, Arcadia High School presentation. My mic on? One of two things is happening.
Extra reports are showing up.
Well, that's maybe. You haven't heard me speak yet, so bear with me. All right, so I have been told I have 10 minutes. I know you have a busy agenda, so just bear with me. I did offer, for the record, Dr. Hall to bypass my opportunity to speak this evening and just send you my presentation in an email, but she did insist that I did speak. So I'm gonna try to multitask. Last time I gave you all a bunch of stickers, and some people proudly displayed those. Other people, I'm assuming they probably set them in their house somewhere. You know, as a token or a memento. We'll get to this once I get through everything else. So it's an honor and privilege to be able to speak about Arcadia High School this evening. Again, I'm short on time, so we're gonna move relatively quickly. First thing, this is a snapshot of who we are. We talked about this last year when I spoke. Our demographics haven't changed too much in regards to what we're working with at Arcadia High School, but I do want to notice or mention we are a diverse school population, and we're very proud of our diversity, not only from the student side of things, but also from our staff. We've been deliberate in how we're hiring our teachers, not only local teachers, teachers that are graduates of Arcadia High School, but also international teachers and teachers from other parts of the United States. So we are proud of that, and we're proud that we have a staff that's reflective of our student body. There's our student performance from last year. The top is the academic performance. You can see there's some areas that we're doing very well in, and then there's some areas that we have some room for improvement. And even though the areas of science and history are a little bit lower than we'd like, they have grown in the last year or so. You may ask yourself, why is your science scores a little lower than normal? And the quick explanation is it's hard to learn science virtually. You know, the kids this year that are going to test in biology, they had a year of environmental science under their belt, face-to-face teacher last year. In our benchmark tests that we took this fall, our students did very well, so we're anticipating those scores will go up. Obviously, in reading and math, we're doing a pretty good job. And then the bottom half there, that's the graduation completion index, dropout, chronic absenteeism, and the CCCRI index. We've made gains in all those areas. Last year in chronic absenteeism, you can see we made huge strides. Didn't quite hit that 15% benchmark, but we're close. Our dropout rate, we cut it in half, and then we're still growing with our graduation index. And then CCCRI is a brand new category for us. In the preliminary report that went out, you saw we were in the red, and then working with Kim Ferguson and Laura Cody, one of my school counselors, we found a number of students who weren't reported properly by the state. We coded it properly. On our end, the state didn't pick them up, so we were able to resubmit those students, and that was a very short timeline, but it did gain us into that level 2, and we're anticipating this year we'll be in level 1 without much of a problem. We are accredited, just for the record. Last year on the side, areas of improvement, that's what we were working on. This year, this is what we're working on. As you can see, there's not a lot of difference. And I explained this last year, our student population, the testing population changes every year. So maybe our students with disability one year have a really great year. The next year, that same group of students with disabilities aren't going to be tested again necessarily, so it's a new group of kids. So it's still an area of concern for us that we've got to make sure we're meeting the needs of our neediest populations, whether it be our students with disabilities or our EL learners. But there you go. That's what we're working on. Chronic absenteeism, graduation completion index, the CCRI, and then trying to get up in the science and the histories. So what's going on in Arcadia? What's not going on in Arcadia? Every day we've got something going on. There's a whole list of things we've accomplished since the start of the school year, whether it be Mr. Borowitz getting fully accredited again with the ASE certification accreditation. We had beta recently, and we did very well in beta. Actually advanced to the National Beta Convention this June, so look forward to requesting some funding to help support those students and their coaches as they travel. 2 years in a row, we've got the VHSL Stay in the Game Award, which means we've had 0 ejections from coaches or players in all 3 winter sports or any 3 sports seasons, which is we're really proud of, especially since we've been promoting sportsmanship, not only at the state level but locally. So we're very proud of our student athletes and our coaches. Last year we talked about the Plant the Mood Challenge with Miss Bonnie Bosworth. She is going to continue with that. She's expanded. She's recruited some more teachers and students to participate, working with NASA. So we're excited about that. The NEC Youth Tour, our senior Devon Henry, who sits on Dr. Hall's superintendent student advisory committee, he represented Arcadia this summer. Really proud of him for that opportunity. We did host the district cheer tournament at Arcadia this year. And we also hosted the Region 2A cheer tournament. So if you came out to that, you saw a really good showing from our local teams. Then we're able to see some really good teams from other parts of the region. We're very proud of how that went. My athletic director, Alan Hall, and then Mr. Haney, who is our DJ for that event, did a great job of hosting it and making sure everyone had a good time. I do have 4 seniors who have been selected to participate in the Eastern Shore Bowl, which is a senior showcase for football players on the Delmarva Peninsula. So Brandon Harmon, Bradley Hall, Rico Bug, and Sean Rogers will be participating in that in December. So we're really proud of those guys for their hard work this season and then being able to represent us in that event. We just had our Theater Fest, and one of our students, Alex Like, received Best Actor Award, which is a pretty big deal. I guess that was a unanimous decision, talking to my coach and some of my other participants, so great job by him. And then I can't promote it enough, but our relationship with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Arcadia High School has really grown and blossomed, providing our student athletes with some mentors and some opportunities to meet individuals on the shore who have given them a lot of support, both at school and then outside of the community. Nate Tim and Phil Brooks are 2 guys that are pretty instrumental in that, so give them a little bit of a shout out for committing to helping our students. Each year, there's fundraising that takes place, and a number of our student athletes get the opportunity to go to a multi-sport camp in EMU over in Harrisonburg. So last year we took 20 students, they get them a charter bus, they pick them up at Arcadia, take them for the week, bring them back, drop them off at Arcadia. It's a really good, positive experience for our kids. So very grateful for those guys. In addition to that, they have team meals for our teams during the season, whether it be at the school or if they're on the road, they make arrangements with another church to have our guys come by, eat some food before the game, have a place to hang out before they go and compete. So very appreciative of that. Certainly we've seen a difference in just the way our gentlemen and our young ladies carry themselves at school and behave. And I think the VHSL Stay in the Game Award is kind of a reflection of that. All right, so what's new? There's always something going on. I got some other stuff in the works. I'm not going to let it out of the bag yet. I don't want to give all my secrets away, but we are still working on our Facebook page. Hopefully you guys follow us on Facebook. We've added some stuff based on some feedback. One of the things I've worked with my guidance counselors is kids come in there and there's some things we talk about on the education side of things that our kids and our families don't necessarily know. So we decided to come up with a AHS Academic Word of the Week, and we just talk about different things that go out on a Monday that's relevant to school, like an advanced diploma or community service hours or a standard diploma or ACT or SAT. Why is that important? So just trying to put some information out there which is easy to grab. We also, in meeting with my student advisory committee, the kids were like, hey, great, we had something that came out on Sunday that told us what's going on this week, other than having to listen to morning announcements every day. I said, fair, that's fine. So we came up with the coming up this week that we post out on Sundays. And it gives us a snapshot of the next 5 or 6 days, what's going on, so the kids know what deadlines are coming up, what events we have. And we got some positive feedback from that. Mr. Harnan is still working on our Firebird Spotlight. He's got a couple more people that were finishing up the posters. We'll display those in the hallway. And I think I discussed it last time, we really find it important for our kids to see that whether you're coming from Horsey Road or Withams or Whitesville or Parksley, that you know, there's some potential in you, because there's other folks who've had some success coming out of Arcadia High School. I'm trying to encourage our kids that, you know, the sky's the limit. What I gave you all was the $2 off wooden nickel. So as part of an incentive to get kids to come to school and get perfect attendance, each month we're recognizing our students who have perfect attendance, and we've given them the wooden nickel. They can use that at a home sporting event or activity where we charge money. So if you go to a basketball game, it costs $7. Present your wooden nickel, you get in for $5. A lot of kids have started to use those. I've told the kids, you can't stack them up and bring 5 to a game and say, oh, Shay, you owe me $3. That's not how it works. But we got some traction with that. The kids really like it. If the kid misses it, or, you know, I didn't get my coin, can I get my coin? So it's been popular. It's hopefully, again, add some incentive for the kids to come to school on a regular basis. And then the other thing we talked about, we're still continuing our pass the coin. Every Friday after school, we got 3 coins, we pass them out, staff gives it to a colleague, someone recognizes for making it a great day to be a Firebird. It's a really little gesture, but as we've talked about as an administrative team, the best part of it is no matter how good the day goes, how good the week goes, how bad the week goes, the last thing we're doing before we go to the weekend is we're celebrating 3 of our colleagues, and we're laughing, we're hugging, we're high-fiving, there's been some crying. You know, so it's a great way to end the week. So no matter what happens, we're walking out, you know, proud to be associated and part of our Firebird family. And then there's some pictures of things that were on the previous slides, just to show we have kids that come to school and actually enjoy it. I can tell you about all of them, but I'm down to 23 seconds. All right, anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Question, just wanted to say I always enjoy your presentations, and I appreciate what you're doing for Arcadia.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I really had like a 23.5-minute speech going, but I'm trying to play the game here. All right, last one, I got 7 seconds. This weekend, Virginia State, across the country, meet up in Salem, Virginia. We had 4 student athletes from the Eastern Shore Accomack County Public Schools represent our schools. Oscar Stave, Braden Shotwell, Aaron O'Shea, my son, and Grace Bentley, all placed in the top 50, which is really good. So each of their respective races had 200 kids, so to be the top 50. Oscar got placed 14th, so the top 15 get recognized by the state as an all-state runner, so congratulations to him. He ran a great race. But again, super proud of all 4 of those kids for going out there and representing Accomack County Public Schools. That's all I got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Do you want the clicker?
Yeah.
Make sure you get back.
All right, please note. Somebody here? What time is it?
Is it on?
I don't know.
I turned it off.
Would you tell me how to turn it on?
No.
Check, got it, thanks. All right, please note, he said he had 7 seconds, went about 20, he's already disqualified. As long as I can stay under 10 minutes, I'm gonna win this. So I too will set a timer. Am I up? Okay. So, first of all, thank you for having us. Always enjoy presenting our school to you for the 2022-2023 school year. Now somebody needs to show me how this clicker works. Got it. I've got 3 slides to present to you, get right to the point. We've got the data slide, which shows our SOL scores for the past 2 years. I like to do a comparative to see the trends, see where they're going. Some interesting things pop out at you. You know, I list the raw scores and I list the adjusted scores. And I think everybody in here knows enough about how that works with the raw scores and with the growth model to get your adjusted score. And what I'm looking for as a principal is I'm looking to get back to where we were, which was just straight raw scores that were in the passing range. And we're not there yet, and we all know that. We all know what the COVID bubble, or at least that's what I call it. We all know what that is. We all know how it's affected us. So I like to see where are those trends going with the scores. And so if you look at the reading down here, I won't go grade by grade, but if you look at the reading, you know, we went from a raw score of 61.5% to 65.7%. Now, as you see, there's another trend there that I want you to look at, and that's that adjusted score. That's really inflated that first year. As the growth model came out, it's really inflated because we're kind of at an all-time low, and there's a lot of areas for the kids to make that growth. So there's a big difference in your raw score going to your adjusted score in the reading to 87%. And you notice, even though the score was higher the second time around, that's starting to even out a little bit. Why? Say a kid is let's say they're 2 deviations below on the growth. Well, if they get the next one and they pick up the growth, the only way they can go is to a pass. They don't have another growth. So you kind of use up your growth scores early, and I think that's the way this trend is going to go. I think you're basically you should run out of this growth factor in just a couple of years, and we'll be back to the point only 2 years from now probably where your raw score is going to be much more reflective of your actual score. So we're at a 82% passing rate, which is fine for now, but we're seeing the bubble. We're seeing the kids making some movement in that. Math, not so much. It really evened out, right? At 62.1%. That amazed me. Math was 62.1%. And again, you see the same trend. You see that adjusted score really being inflated that first year because there was a lot of room for growth, but you don't see it so much the second year. So we definitely got some work to do in the math area. Do want to point out with the 5th grade math, that the 5th grade math is really doing well, continues. That's George Tucker, quote Dr. Hall. Every teacher in the county should have watched George Tucker teach at some time or another. So he's a great teacher, but we're really doing good there. Typically math has been a real strength of that public team. Virginia studies came up considerably and actually was pass rate. And then I'll point out that the science, we had to use our 3-year average, 51.4% 2 years ago. We had to use our 3-year average, and that just wiped us out. That was it. Here's your, guess what? Your base score is a pass or not. And we were the only elementary school in the division that actually had a straight up pass on the science, 76.5%. All hats off to Meg Ray. I'm gonna shout out for my 2 veteran teachers on the staff tonight. Meg Ray, 38 years, 39th year of service to our county, and she is an excellent teacher and got our school to the accreditation area just with her science. So that is some of the SOL review. We're moving in the right direction, but yes, we have a long way to go. Some of the behavior. I won't go a lot into detail on the behavior. Those little kids, you can look up there and see the bottom line. Those little kids got a long way to go with the behavior. I think a lot of you are probably hearing that, especially those of you that are more involved in an elementary school, are really hearing that. And again, I'm going to attribute it to the COVID bubble. These kids, when they should be out at playgrounds playing with other children, daycare, all these types of things where they get those developmental years leading up to school, and they're isolated in their homes with masks. No wonder they don't know how to get along with other children. And then the other side of that is you look up at the physical aggression. That's very telling. As a principal of, principal of 17 years for you now, it has always been a dependable thing for me that our top 2 areas of need deal with disruption and defiance. I mean, it's overwhelming. And then you look at this chart and you find that all of a sudden physical aggression is our #1 overall referral issue in the school. And we're dealing with it again this year. So these are things that we're really working on through the social emotional supports and really working on. I think it's directly attributable to the COVID shutdown. All right, and again, if any of you at any time want to ask anything about any of this data while it's up there, just please feel free to shout right out. All right, so some of the strategies that we're doing. We have done very well, been really supported by the state, supported by the county for Title I, for funding. They've been terrific. And we have trained every teacher who teaches reading in our school in Orton-Gillingham. This is the instruction best practices as recommended by the Virginia Department of Education, Virginia Literacy Act. So it is a very precise way of teaching reading, and we have got every teacher has gone through a week-long training, embedded, in-depth training session on that to teach reading. Because let's face it, it's all going to come down to that last slide. I lied to you, there's another slide after this. All that matters is teachers. All that matters is how we prepare and train our teachers. That's the key to success. Ron Clark Academy, I just got back from it this last weekend. Most incredible experience I've ever had as an educator. And that deals with all sorts of techniques and communication and things like, I'm not even doing it now, things like purposeful movement and how that relates to the teaching. It's basically like a hospital. You go in there, you're sitting around and you're watching them in action, teaching a class, teaching students respect, how to talk to each other, how to answer questions, how to stand and be heard, how to give approval to what others are saying and how to politely disagree. It was an incredible experience. I strongly am encouraging Dr. Hall to take herself and her instructional team down there and watch that. I think it would be very, very impactful to this division. Power Up. Power Up is in process. Power Up is a scheduling method that we are able to layer our services to ensure that each child that needs to receive remediation types of services, Tier 3 reading, Tier 3 to Tier 2 math, are getting that time for it. We have also required that all students who need Tier 3 reading support are getting it directly from our reading specialist. And then also we have purchased Lexia. We haven't purchased Lexia. Lexia was a program that the county brought into play. I think it may have come from Jennifer's office, special ed. We find through piloting that program originally that it's a very powerful program that diagnoses kids' reading problems and individualizes the instruction to their level, which, as you know and as we all know as educators, is the key to reading instruction, is the key to kids' learning. It has to be not too hard and not too easy. It has to be at their reading level. So Lexia is there, we're using it with Fidelity, and then there is iReady, which is the same type of thing with math. So we've got a lot of programs, and there's a lot of other stuff I could talk to you about. But you know, we're very proud of some of our PAL scores of the second graders and third graders that came from the second grade. Really great improvement there, a lot of hard work by the reading specialists and the teachers to prepare this. We're seeing good things, but you know, we are definitely worried. Right now, 3, 4, and 5 is that bubble. It is that. Kid in third grade is a kid that started kindergarten when the school was shut down. Kid in second grade, first, second, where they're just learning to read. These are the kids now in 3, 4, and 5. So this is going to be an interesting year, and we do have a lot of deficits. That slide, I keep on thinking somebody's going to click it, and I got to do it. Again, teacher is the single most significant factor in the student's ability to learn. Nothing more and nothing less. And our focus at Punkateek has been to develop our teachers. It's not about me, it's not about a lot of the support, it's about how do we develop teachers and get them the conditions in the classrooms so they can engage with students and so they can be successful. I'll take a minute to ask if there's any questions. No questions?
Thank you for sharing. My one question is with regard to the behavior data. There's an other category, 50 students that paid 40, the ISS. Could you say a little bit more about what's in that other category? Just a couple of examples.
Really, we tried to look for trends, and I think it's very possible we were following some of the categories that are put out on the sheet by Ms. Jordan for her report. And so these don't fit into these categories, but they could be something like, let's see if it's up there, misuse of a computer, or going to the wrong site, or, you know, I mean, there's just a lot of things, ma'am, but yeah. But I invite you, as I invite all school board members, if any of you ever want to come down and dig deep directly out of school, you come down, you see me, and we'll be glad to open it up to you. Obviously, that's information I think that should be privy to you.
All right.
Now,
Bill?
wait a minute, I don't know how to operate this thing in.
Same question on that same slide. So when is this data from? What was the time period?
This data here is from last year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's funny because it's 360 total offenses. And I look back at 2019, our actual first year before the whole COVID experience started, we had 360 total offenses for the year. So it's, you know, it's not too far off, but again, it's the way it's shifted towards this physical aggression, these hitting out for out of the blue and no reason, that type of thing. So, any other questions?
So this was from last year, do you see it trending better?
I see it trending worse.
It's getting worse.
Yes, sir. I see it trending worse. But I would say this, it is really targeting down on a handful of kids. And that's the other thing you have to look at when you look at this, is that probably 10 to 15 kids account for about 95% of this. So we got a lot of specific helps that need to get in place. Again, I'll give hats off to the county, Ms. Annis in particular, on this. They're being very supportive of getting the behavioral supports and improving the behavioral supports we need. So I have no complaints there, but we definitely got a challenge ahead of us. My shins show it sometimes.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I just was wondering, do you all have a PTA or do you have?
Yes, ma'am,
parents
PTO. Yes, ma'am.
In the building or?
Yes, ma'am, the PTO, and it's actually expanding, it's going very well. You know, there's a lot more people getting involved this year that have been involved in the past. Just got a good group of parents, so I think that parent engagement piece and that parents being in the school, doing fundraisers and, you know, developing, programs out of the PTO has been a real, you know, it's been a definite increase, because it definitely shut down there for a few years, especially with COVID. All right. If I can, I know my time's done, but I want to thank some of you. I know that there's some people here who have been here for many years, have served us. I know some of the members here are going to be, will be leaving after they seat the new school board. I'd like to thank Mr. Bull for your service, Mr. Reese, my good friend, and thank you for everything you did with getting the playgrounds in place and your tireless hard work. And Dr. Holden, thank you for, is it 30 years?
32, yes.
30, yeah, I'm gonna be the first principal that gets to thank you guys. 32 years of service to our community. I truly appreciate, we don't always agree, but we agree on most, and I truly appreciate your service and what you've done for our community and our schools and to all the school board members. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. All right, item 4.01. You had an opportunity to review the minutes. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we will declare the minutes unanimously approved. The first reading, rights and responsibilities. After you read it, if you have any questions, contact central office, and it will be ready for the second reading the next time. Item 6.01, legislative packet. We identified 4 legislative initiatives that will be at board, be voted on Thursday. And those were dealing with the additional or included incentives for safety and security upgrades in the funding, the employee background checks using the FBI new generation identification system. And the third one was school safety zones, where we would have local authority would have, local authorities would have the ability to control the school safety zones, even if it's on the highway. And the fourth one, of course, is dealing with the enforcement of truancy, looking for a consistent manner in which truancy would be handled both with parents and with students. And do we have anyone that had any questions or anyone that wanted to vote against those? If not, we will support all 4 of those initiatives. All right, we will support all 4 of those initiatives. All right, the next one is K-3 funding initiative.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have a few slides to share with you that will explain our K-3 funding fall preliminary summary. So each year, the district submits a report to the state, and this report indicates student-teacher ratios, free lunch status, and total school enrollment. And then the state uses this data to determine how much K-3 funding we will receive. So here you see our current enrollment numbers for this year. Right now, it's broken down by school, and you see our total enrollment for K through 3 is 1,376 students. And that covers all 6 of our elementary schools. So this slide is the important one. You will see fiscal year 23 compared to the current funding that's projected, broken down by school, and at the bottom you'll see whether those schools are receiving additional funds or if their funding was decreased. And a couple things to keep in mind: total enrollment and the free lunch percentage is what the state uses to determine the funded per pupil amount, how much per student they're going to fund. A couple other things to think about are class size. The state likes for our K-3 classrooms to max at 22. And as we know right now, We do have a teacher shortage, so some of our class sizes are a little larger than we would like. We've got various supports in place to support those classrooms, and we're talking, a few have 24, 25 is the max. Right now, we have 10 classrooms that exceed the 22 max, but what we do to offset that is we have Title I supports, reading specialists, house tutors. We try to make sure we give those classrooms additional support. We've also hired additional instructional assistants to support those grade levels that have increased number of class size. So looking at these numbers, you see in fiscal year 23, we received $955,901. This year it's projected that we will receive $763,578. So there you see the difference. And this, you'll see if you look at past years, we've had to take the reducing in funding due to various factors. Questions?
Any questions? 20% loss, okay.
Thankfully, we have other funds like equalization, Title I for some of our schools, county funds, so we use those funds to offset anything that this funding would go towards.
I don't know if you've noticed, but let's say that we met the class size requirement, we didn't have those 10 classrooms. What would this number look like then?
It would depend because it's not just the class size, and I can do a little research, and I have the reports here that I can gladly share with you from the state, but where they look at various indicators that funded per pupil each year changes based on the various indicators. So it would increase it if we met that, I believe. Exactly how much, I would have to break down each category.
We had years that we had over $1 million, that was our funding that we would get, but, those were the years that you talked about, which we stayed within the class size. And the other thing, like, Ms. Farrell was just talking about, we put other supports in to help the classes that had, over the numbers we're recommending. However, you can't count those staff members and put a reading teacher in there or, another type of one teacher. When you're doing your addition and when you're looking at your teacher-student ratio, you can't count those in there. So that's why I use that.
I didn't know if that was the big indicator or.
And they also, like-
We had less kids or.
And in our instructional meeting just today, we were discussing from this ends at the end of September, that's the data we use. But as of October 1st this year, in our meeting today, we were talking about the increase in EL students, special education students, just general enrollments has increased. So then hopefully next year, if those students stay with us, we'll see a difference. Thank you.
All right, item 6.03, award of surplus equipment. And we have before you equipment that has been surplus, so the bids and the recommendation. Do I have a motion to accept those recommendations?
A motion that we accept bids for our surplus equipment.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.04, the 2024-25 calendar.
Okay, tomorrow's the big day. So everyone has seen, all board members have seen the calendars with the 3 options that, the committee's put together. And that is probably, no, it's probably not it. I was ready to say, at 7 o'clock, a robocall is gonna go out to every parent and every student in the division, letting them know that tomorrow they will have an option to vote on the calendar that we will use for the 24-25 school year. So all the groups have seen the calendar, the principals, administrators, everybody has seen the calendars, given their input, given their suggestions. I've sent the information out to you guys. Parents have seen the calendar on our parent advisory committee. They've given their suggestions, especially the teachers. So we took all of those suggestions, looked at what we needed to make sure each calendar had 180 days, and the teachers had 191 work days, which is 1 day less than they had last year. And we built 3 calendars. So a robocall, as I said, is gonna go out, and it's gonna let our stakeholders know that tomorrow morning, the calendar options will be launched, and they can go online, and they they can vote on the calendar of their choice. And it will stay open until, the Monday after Thanksgiving, I think it's the 27th. It'll stay open until the 27th, that's when it closes. And after that, it's on the Survey Monkey, so we'll pull all of it in, we'll look at the data, and then we'll bring back to this group the recommended calendar based on the vote of the public, so.
Great. Okay, item 6.05, facilities update.
Good evening. Greg, I might be using the clicker. I am.
Who might look?
You might have to call up there and get instructions. I'm a facilities guy, not a clicker guy. so-
Our one was pretty similar to mine.
Yes. Same background, Sean's.
I know, I noticed that, Sean. I've tried to be more like you, but my presentation will probably fall short. so.
You can all try.
This is just kind of an update of where we're at on some things. I'm still trying to figure out this clicker too, so bear with me. All right? There we go. All right. Like I said, it's just gonna be an update of some of the items that we're working on, got in progress, getting to, first several will be Arcadia High School. We recently had the track resurfaced, relined, everything, got all the lines in place for like what's regulation right now in Virginia High School, track and field. Here we got the long jump, triple jump, pole vault, all that. We're still working there. We've got to finish the sand traps and different things there. We've got a goal. We're working on that stuff starting next month with being finished up with this part of it in January. We're a little further behind right here. This is shot put and discus. We're going to be on where we're at right now in these pictures. These are about a week and a half old. But we're moving on there. Hopefully all the stuff related to track and field we'll have wrapped up by the end of January, first part of February, where these kids can get on them, start practicing, be ready to host their first event in May, I think, April, May.
April, May.
Okay, April, May timeframe, but we will be done and they'll have adequate time to practice. Here's the high jump, area. We still got some final grading to do there, some different things, but I'm working with, let's go back. Let's go up, okay, there we go. Sorry if you got busy on that, but, so we're still working on this. I'm working with Sean and his staff on, we're getting some final orders together for equipment we need, to have this thing, really ready come springtime for them to practice on. And I mean, have a track and field facility that we can be proud of on the Eastern Shore and host events and have, people from the mainland coming over from Maryland, whatever, but, host an event that we can be proud of our facilities. And, it's gonna be kind of an educational learning process for my guys as well in taking care of this stuff, because we want it to last, we wanna take care of it and make sure it, holds up well. Nandua High greenhouse, this is, kind of what's existing on the far left, inside, it's now torn down. That is the new greenhouse, the configuration, and it is shipping the week of the 27th. And they'll start install first week of December, and hopefully we'll have everything up, connection in place and everything by the first of the year. That's what we're shooting for right now. Therapeutic playgrounds right now, we're at ACPS Elementary, Kagatech and Metonkin. They're actively working on all these right now. They're setting equipment today at ACPS. The rubber surfacing, they're planning on getting here next week, but it may now be the week after Thanksgiving. They got delayed on a project up in Wycombe County, so they're falling behind a little bit on that. But they want to get it in before real cold weather comes, have all the surfacing in place. And then we'll have some other work to do, some fencing and things like that around some of it, but we'll have that finished where they can use it come January. I threw this into last minute. This is factory pictures of our new cooler freezers that will be placing one at Arcadia High School and one at Pungatee to kind of meet the needs of the food service department. Currently there, they've got small units. They can't keep the volume of food and everything they need there. There's already one of these in place at Kagatech, and these are similar to our main central freezers we have down behind the primary school. But those two will go in place. They ship, the week of the 27th. Hope to have them up and running and everything probably by mid-December. Tangier, this is the metal roof project. Kind of threw an overhead picture here and then kind of showed, some of the getting the materials over there. This material stacked in front of the school on the left. We've got a lot going on over there. The picture on the far right with the green and the gray. The green is what was finished on October 31st. At this point now, there's, that whole back section kind of back there is completed at this point. They had planned to finish Thanksgiving week. Unfortunately, they opened a container of panels, last Thursday, and 8 of the panels were damaged. Now they gotta order new panels for that section. They won't come in until after Thanksgiving, so now they're looking at probably December 8th being completed. I expect right now they'll probably run behind that some. I'm just hoping that, they're done by Christmas time. So it's been a challenging project. They've dealt a lot of wind out there, but, once the roof that's on, I was over there last week, the roof that's on, they're doing a great job. It looks good. I mean, it will take care of a lot of the issues Tangier roof is right now. This is the transportation garage, tire storage building. It's now complete. They're already moving tires into it. This is something they needed because they had a lot of tires outside, new stuff sitting outside, the weather and everything, so they were using that. It's coming in handy for them. Arcadia High School, and I want to thank Mr. White for this one because, this was something at a board meeting previously, you kind of asked us why we were doing what we were doing with just adding bleachers on each side of Arcadia, and that got myself and Beth to really thinking that, why were we doing that? We went back and looked, the current bleachers at Arcadia were out of compliance. No company that we talked to would do anything to attach to them, that's where we kind of got the side by side. Since then, we've gone back to the drawing board with them, and the new configuration we're looking at is on the right, and it's a 919 seat capacity. It's pretty similar to what you would see nowadays, current code compliant. There's an opening right there, if you look kind of to the left side, and what happened there is, once you go over 750 seating, you've got to have another form of egress. So that egress right there, will allow that. When I shared it with Sean, he wanted to know what it was, and I told him what it was, and he understood. If you remember back to our Nandua presentation that I had previously, there wasn't one of those in there. They had an engineer do that project that didn't realize once he exceeded 750 seats that it was required. So now the new drawing for Nandua includes it. They held the same price and everything, they didn't change anything. Nandua, we're scheduling demo existing now, waiting until football season's over on both schools. We're scheduling a demo of this one in the coming weeks. We're gonna have both schools finished prior to the start of spring sports. So we're looking at having everything done bleacher-wise. I'm hoping by like mid-February is what we're looking at right now.
Yes.
Quick question. With regard to both schools, Vermont, please, they have accessible ramps?
Yes, the right-hand.
Identify them.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, you'll see, well, let's go back to the Arcadia, because it'll be different.
Yeah.
There's the Arcadia kind of there, and then you see along those front rows, it's like, those are wheelchair spots right there where it looks like water seat. So, and you see the ramp configuration there in Arcadia, and Nandua is a little bit different because of the layout. It's the one on the, I guess y'all don't understand, I have to get it right. The on the right-hand side.
Thank you.
Should've never gave me a clicker. Technology building renovations, kind of some current pictures of what it looks like there. We're working with the firm Becker Morgan on this. We have met with, Jack a couple of times now, he's got information back. This is just kind of a picture of the drawing. They're supposed to have us some rough construction budget prices by the end of this week, kind of see where we're at. And then I think that Beth and I will probably sit down and look at where we have funding wise, and then hopefully we don't have to make any cuts, but we'll kind of go from there. I'm gonna stop right here for right now, because I think when I'm getting ready, my next slide goes into like 6.6 on the agenda thing. So,
I had a question on track and field. So the rubber surfacing that's going in, is that high maintenance or highly protected during the all season?
I mean, it's just, it's not high maintenance at all. You pretty much, you can wash it with a hose, you don't want to use pressure wash it, blow it off with a leaf blower, stuff like that. I mean, it's one of those things, we're gonna take much better care of it. Now, I'm gonna buy some equipment, some walk behind type blowers and things like that to keep stuff off of it. Really make some changes up at Arcadia between like the concession stand and the track right now, where we're getting all that gravel on it. I'm looking at doing some concrete aprons there, and want to take and protect it the best we can, and make it where it's not high maintenance for us, and also not maintenance for the school to have to be worrying about stuff constantly. So I'll get together with Principal O'Shea for sure, we'll come up with how we need to take care of that, and put in place the best means to do it.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, for the accessible ramps, are we gonna build something that gets from the parking lot to the bleachers?
That's gonna be in the plans, to do sidewalks, something to get, from point A to point B, yes. But doing the bleachers, to do anything, we had to include it now to be compliant. So now
Yes.
we'll get that, then we'll figure out the best means of access to and from.
Thank you.
Roll on.
Okay.
All right, academic primary renovation. Just go straight to this one. We sent out requests for proposals. We had 13 architecture and engineering firms respond to these proposals. We went through all of them, Parker West, myself, Beth was involved on the initial review of everything. We narrowed it down to the top 3 candidates, and that top 3 was based on a number of things for this particular project. We wanted to find a firm that had a lot of historical restoration in their resume. Closer proximity, we had firms as far away as 5.5, 6 hours send us information. And I went through all of them myself to just find out geographically where they were from our project, to make sure that we were looking at that, because this renovation, everybody knows, it's gonna be a challenging renovation. Things are gonna come up through the process. It's gonna be important for a firm to be on board that can be here and respond in a timely manner. And if the firm's 4, 5, 6 hours away, a lot of times that might be that they're coming back a week later, or something like that, where the ones that I looked at that met the criteria, and Carlton, pretty much the same thing, we looked at it all. I mean, we narrowed it down to 3 firms. Then we had final interviews with those 3 firms that included Dr. Hall, Dr. Holden, Mr. Reeves, Beth Owen, Carlton, and myself again. And we went through, interviewed them. They asked a lot of questions. We asked them about fee structures and different things. And a general overall consensus was that our recommendations that we move forward with Dills Architect. They're a Virginia Beach architectural firm. They have a long resume of historical renovations. They've done a number of school board offices and things like that. But they appear to be the firm that will meet the needs and probably exceed our expectations just based on what they have done in the past. So we would like to, start contract negotiations with them on that. In the same go-round, we were looking to get General Services, an architectural firm for General Services. That way we can kind of make some headway on like an auxiliary gym, home-deep gym addition, things like that. So we had all the same 13 respond to this as well. Same deal, we narrowed it down. As you can see here, kind of our top 3, we used specialized skills, experience, a proven track record, demonstrates quality work and different things. And again, location. I felt it was important to have somebody that could be responsive and keep it under a 2-hour, from us. Via Design is who we're recommending we move forward with on this. They have a lot of annual contract with public school systems across the bay. They had a very good presentation. A lot of their pictures of work they've done and everything they like an open atmosphere, a lot of light, things that we thought would be conducive in educational settings and kind of their strong suit. And that's kind of where we landed with them. I think in this regard, any of the top 3 would have been very good candidates for what we need, but I think they bring just something. We saw some of their recent gym projects, and they were really nice. And I think that's our goal, is to hire the best people we can, and the best project we can get within the funding that we have. So, that's all I got.
Any questions? All right. Could I have a motion to approve, to recommend the contract of architecture firm?
All right, I motion we accept the panel's recommendation. Deals are for the architectural services for ACMAC primary, and Via Design for the general architectural services.
Second?
Moved and second. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
I have one more slide. It doesn't change it. And I failed to put this up. I just want to kind of give a kind of overview of what we've got going on, what's happening, and what we're working on. Most of all this stuff you all know, so, but I have one slide, I didn't want to cheat it out. And I learned to use a clicker tonight.
Okay. All right, migrant, consortium director.
Good evening. And we received our allocation from the state, and it was, so I'm here to share how we plan to spend those funds. Our total allocation is $14,363.55. So it's very short, just one slide. There we go. Okay, so this are how we're planning to spend the money. Instructional supplies for teachers and students, school supplies and backpacks for students, instructional materials to reinforce reading, math, science, and social studies skills, food and supplies for parent engagement events, and we'll also buy some hygiene kits. So with your approval, I'll submit the application to the state.
Okay. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the education for migrant children, allocations, grant.
All right, thank you.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Item 7.01, superintendent report.
I don't have much tonight. Budget call, we're gonna be sending, I put that in the Friday letter, that we're gonna be including the board's, ideas in our budget from the beginning. So when Beth and I send out everything to the principals for budget calls, then you'll be getting that same information and the guidelines on how to request something for the budget. We're gonna use a new process this year for sitting down and looking at the budget to include a team of people looking at the budget before we make selections to bring to you guys for your approval. And that's about it. I'm just looking forward to going tomorrow to VSBA with that.
All right, before we go to the closed meeting, we'd like to welcome the 3 new board members that will be coming on in January.
And I had the pleasure of meeting with 2 of them for an extensive conversation, and I'm waiting to meet with Stephanie.
Can you sing? All right.
Mustang.
The board will adjourn the closed meeting as allowed by section 2.2-3711 Code of Virginia,